Have you ever wondered why the calmest souls often carry the most dangerous storms inside them? There is something ancient in you, Taurus, something unshakable, like a mountain that remembers the first dawn. People look at you and see serenity. They see a gentle rhythm, a lover of beauty, of peace, of all things that taste like honey and sound like harmony. But deep down, beneath that soft and grounded surface, lives a secret so old that even the stars whisper it with caution. It is the truth that no witch wants you to discover. Before we go any further, I want you to breathe deeply and feel the weight of those words, because this is not just another video about astrology. This is a spiritual revelation, a mirror held up to the soul of the bull. This is about power, the kind that moves through your bones, the kind that hums beneath your calm, the kind that can create worlds or destroy them in silence. Taurus is ruled by Venus, yes, but not the soft Venus painted in pastel skies. This is Venus, in her ancient form, the one who was once feared as a goddess of both love and destruction, the one who could bless with abundance or strip everything away until only truth remained. When you were born under the sign of the bull, you inherited her duality. You became both the garden and the storm that tests it. Most people will never understand that about you. They will call you stubborn, because they cannot see the sacred roots that hold you steady when everything else falls apart. They will say you move slowly, never realizing that the earth itself moves with your pace. They will crave your peace, never sensing the depth of power it takes for you to keep it. And yet, beneath all that grace and strength, there lies a shadow, a truth you were never meant to hear. It is not the darkness of evil, but the darkness of origin, the soil where your real magic grows. Because before Taurus became a symbol of comfort and stability, it was once the sacred guardian of the unseen, the one who knew how to merge the physical and the divine. Every Taurus carries that memory, even if they cannot name it. That is why you crave touch, scent, beauty, and silence. You are not materialistic. You are remembering what it feels like to anchor heaven into earth. But what happens when that anchor becomes a chain? What happens when the desire to keep everything stable turns into a fear of change so deep that it silences your own evolution? Stay with me until the end, because the answer to that question reveals the most powerful transformation your soul can experience. The truth hidden within your stillness is the key to your awakening, a revelation that can shatter illusions and set your spirit free. In this journey, we will go beyond zodiac cliches. We will descend into the heart of Taurus energy, not to expose it, but to understand it. We will uncover the secret that witches feared to speak, and we will remember what it truly means to embody the earth itself. If your spirit feels that familiar pull, if something in you whispers that this message was meant for you, write in the comments, "I am ready to remember who I am." They say Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and harmony, and that may be true, but what they rarely speak of is how that same love can become armor. Taurus carries beauty like a shield, serenity like a sword. You, born under this sign, are often seen as the calm in the middle of life's storms. Yet that calm is not always peace. Sometimes it is endurance. Sometimes it is the silence before the thunder. You walk through the world with grace. People come to you for comfort, for your warmth, for the feeling that nothing can break when you are near. They see your patience and call it gentleness. They see your loyalty and call it love. But few ever look close enough to notice the quiet tension beneath that surface, the hidden effort it takes to keep your world from falling apart. What they call peace is at times your most disciplined form of protection. Taurus seeks stability like a prayer. You are drawn to beauty, to rhythm, to anything that feels certain in a universe that changes without warning. And yet, within that longing for stability lies a quiet fear, the fear of losing what feels safe. That fear can turn the softest soul into a silent warrior, guarding every inch of its garden from the winds of change. You might tell yourself it is just practicality, but deep inside, you know it is something older. It is the instinct of survival passed down from the first time your spirit touched this earth. Imagine the bull, sacred and still, standing in a golden field. Its muscles do not move, yet its awareness is sharp, ready for anything. This is your spirit. You hold your ground with devotion, but the same roots that give you strength can also bind you if you do not let them breathe. Taurus energy is ancient, steady, and divine, but it can become a prison when it refuses to release control. You may think you are keeping life in balance, yet sometimes you are simply keeping it still. The beautiful mask of Taurus is built from elegance, patience, and sensual power. But underneath, there is a pulse that never rests, a need to preserve what you love, to build a world that never crumbles. The truth is, that world was never meant to stay the same. You are meant to shape it, yes, but also to watch it transform. The universe does not ask you to hold on forever. It asks you to trust that what is real will remain, even when everything else fades. The light of Venus within you is not only about attraction or romance, it is about creation. You have the power to take a simple moment and turn it into something eternal. You build beauty that lasts: art, love, memories. Yet this power becomes heavy when it is driven by fear instead of faith. The more you try to control, the more life slips through your fingers, because Taurus learns the hardest truth of all. You cannot possess what is sacred. You can only honor it. And when you finally understand that, your stillness becomes something greater. It becomes wisdom. It becomes the voice of the earth speaking through you. It is no longer resistance. It is reverence. You begin to see that peace does not mean absence of movement, but the presence of divine rhythm. You learn that true stability is not about holding the world still, but about trusting your strength enough to let it change. So when people look at you and see only serenity, they have no idea of the fire that holds it together. They do not see the silent prayers you whisper every time life asks you to release what you love. They do not see the courage it takes to stay soft in a world that tests your patience again and again. But the universe sees it. The earth feels it. You were never meant to be fragile. You were born to be the quiet force that keeps the stars grounded. Every sign has a shadow, and Taurus, yours is as ancient as the soil itself. It does not roar or shout. It whispers softly in the dark corners of your heart. It is not chaos or anger. It is the quiet resistance that rises when life asks you to change. It is that deep, unspoken voice that says, "No, I want things to stay the way they are." You see, the shadow of Taurus is not destruction. It is stillness that becomes heavy. It is the comfort that slowly turns into confinement. You were born with the gift of patience. You can wait longer than most, love deeper than most, endure more than most. But when patience turns into stubbornness, when love turns into attachment, when endurance turns into fear of loss, your strength begins to work against you. You start holding your breath without realizing it, afraid that if you exhale, something precious will disappear. And in that moment, your light starts to dim, not because it has gone out, but because it has forgotten how to move. Taurus energy resists change because it feels everything so deeply. When you lose something, you do not just lose it. You feel it in your body, in your chest, in your pulse. The memory of it lives inside you like a seed that refuses to dissolve. You hold on to people, places, and memories because your soul craves continuity, the promise that what you love will not vanish overnight. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, teaches you again and again that growth requires surrender. Picture a field that has not been plowed for many years. The soil is rich, but the roots are tangled, the ground unbreathable. That is what happens when Taurus holds too tightly. Your energy, once fertile and abundant, becomes stuck. The beauty that once blossomed begins to fade, not because it has died, but because it needs air, it needs movement, it needs you to trust the rhythm of change. The bull that once guarded the garden now risks becoming trapped inside it. And yet, there is a quiet brilliance even in your resistance. You teach the world the sacred art of stillness. You remind humanity that not every storm requires motion, that some transformations are born from silence. Your challenge is not to abandon stability, but to recognize when stability has turned into stagnation. The same power that can build empires can also bury dreams beneath routine if you do not let your spirit breathe. When Taurus energy reaches its shadow, it starts protecting too much. It protects love until it suffocates it. It protects comfort until it becomes complacency. It protects peace until it becomes avoidance. You may find yourself saying, "I am fine," when deep inside, you are craving change so desperately that your soul aches for it. But here is the truth. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It shows you where you have built walls instead of boundaries, where you have confused safety with surrender. Witches of old used to say that Taurus was both the guardian of Eden and the keeper of the gate. You can protect paradise, but you can also close yourself inside it. You hold the power to preserve or to transform, to stay or to evolve. And when you finally open that gate, when you allow your spirit to move again, the entire world feels it. The earth exhales through you. The flowers bloom again, not because the seasons changed, but because you did. So, if your life has felt like it is standing still, if you've been guarding something so tightly that you forgot what it feels like to breathe freely, remember this: Taurus was never meant to live in fear of change. You are the soul that bridges heaven and earth. You are the bull who can stand firm and yet walk forward. When you honor both your stillness and your motion, you return to your natural rhythm, the rhythm of creation itself. You see, Taurus, your shadow does not exist to destroy you. It exists to awaken you. The stillness that once felt like confinement becomes sacred when you finally understand what it is teaching you. Every resistance, every hesitation, every moment when you stood still while the world demanded movement was not weakness, it was wisdom in disguise. The universe carved this patience into your soul for a reason. It is your dark gift, the power that few truly comprehend. You are not meant to rush. You are meant to listen to the hum of the earth beneath your feet, to the whisper of divine timing. The same energy that can make you stubborn can also make you unshakable when the winds of chaos arrive. Where others panic, you remain steady. Where others crumble, you hold the vibration that reminds the world what stability feels like. That is not an accident. That is your sacred purpose. In a world that glorifies speed and endless movement, your darkness becomes your rebellion. You are the reminder that miracles bloom in silence, that creation requires space to breathe. The dark side of Taurus is not something to be feared. It is the ancient wisdom of the earth saying, "Be still until you remember who you are." It is the universe teaching you that divine timing cannot be forced. When you move before you are ready, you scatter your power. When you wait with faith, you become unstoppable. There is a profound strength in your slowness. It is not laziness, it is alignment. The same way the moon takes its time to wax and wane, you move according to sacred rhythm. When your shadow whispers that you are falling behind, remember even the seasons wait for the right moment to bloom. The oak tree does not rush to become the forest. It simply grows, rooted, patient, eternal. You are that tree, Taurus. You are the temple that time cannot break. But every sacred gift comes with a lesson. If you cling too tightly to your stillness, it becomes stagnation. If you use your patience to hide from change, it becomes fear. Your challenge is to find the balance between holding and releasing, between building and surrendering. The universe does not want you to abandon your grounding. It wants you to awaken within it. There is a rhythm to creation. Inhale, exhale, plant, harvest. You are meant to move with that flow, not against it. When you learn to trust that flow, everything begins to shift. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop fearing endings. You realize that your stillness has power because it is chosen, not imposed. Your energy becomes magnetic, your presence soothing, your words prophetic. You embody what the mystics call earth consciousness, the awareness that creation itself lives within your patience. That is your dark gift, Taurus. The ability to turn pain into presence, to transform longing into manifestation, to take the chaos of the world and anchor it into beauty. When you finally embrace both your light and your shadow, you become the meeting point between heaven and soil. You are not only ruled by Venus, you are Venus made flesh, the living reminder that love is not always soft and that true creation requires both darkness and light to bloom. And as you walk this path, something incredible happens. The heaviness that once felt like resistance transforms into quiet faith. You no longer chase what is meant for you because you can feel it coming. You stop defending your peace because you have become the peace. Your power no longer needs to prove itself. It simply exists. Like the earth beneath every storm, like the heart that beats beneath every silence. Taurus, love is your sacred language. It is how your soul remembers its purpose. You were born to feel deeply, to taste life with all of your senses, to hold the world in your hands and whisper, "Stay." But love, for you, is never light. It is heavy, holy, and transformative. It teaches you more than any other force in the universe because it is through love that you meet your greatest lesson, letting go. You see, your heart was not made for casual affection. It was made for devotion, for loyalty that feels eternal. You fall in love with people, with places, with ideas, and you hold them as if your spirit depends on their presence. But the universe, wise and unyielding, will always test the Taurus heart by taking away what it clings to most. This is not cruelty, it is initiation. It is how your soul learns that real power does not come from possession, but from presence. When you lose what you love, you do not break, you transform. You feel the soil beneath your feet shift, and for a moment, it seems like the ground will swallow you whole. But that is when your true magic begins. You are the earth element, the energy that knows how to rebuild after the fire. You learn that love is not something to hold, it is something to become. And when you rise from your grief, you rise stronger, softer, wiser, like a garden that grows back wilder after the storm. There comes a time in every Taurus life when everything they relied upon begins to fade: relationships, jobs, routines, even identities. You may feel lost, as if the universe has stolen your peace. But what it has really done is clear the field for a new creation. The old version of you, the one that believed safety meant control, begins to crumble. And from that collapse, your soul emerges, radiant and raw, remembering its divine origin. It is here, in the heart of loss, that Taurus discovers its real strength. Not the strength to hold on, but the strength to release. Not the courage to endure, but the courage to begin again. You realize that endings are not punishments, they are invitations. Every closed door is the Earth's way of saying, grow elsewhere. And as you grow, something beautiful happens. The love you used to seek outside of yourself begins to bloom within you. The bull that once guarded its heart now becomes the builder of sacred harmony. You no longer chase comfort, you create it. You no longer seek approval, you radiate it. Your power shifts from defense to creation. You become the embodiment of divine love, grounded, radiant, and eternal. When you love now, it is not to hold or to keep, but to bless. Your touch becomes healing. Your words become prayers. Your presence becomes a sanctuary. This is the moment of rebirth, when Taurus rises from the soil it once feared to disturb. The old patterns dissolve, and in their place blooms a deeper truth. You were never meant to possess the world. You were meant to nurture it. Every heartbreak, every loss, every ending you have survived was not meant to punish you, but to prepare you for the power of unconditional love. And now, as you stand in that rebirth, you begin to understand that your purpose was never just to find stability, it was to embody divine creation itself. You are the artist and the canvas, the soil and the seed, the lover and the love. Everything you touch becomes sacred because you finally remember what you are made of. You are earth, yes, but you are also the divine pulse that makes it bloom. What no witch wanted you to discover, Taurus, is the magnitude of your power once you embrace both your light and your shadow. For centuries, the bull was seen as a symbol of patience and strength, but behind that image hides a truth far deeper. You are the architect of the material and the spiritual worlds. You hold within you the secret code of manifestation, the ability to turn energy into matter, dreams into form, and emotion into reality. That is not just astrology, that is ancient alchemy. When you are awakened, you do not simply wish for things, you summon them. You do not chase abundance, you attract it through the magnetic force of grounded faith. You understand that everything in the universe is born from vibration, and your vibration is steady, unwavering, eternal. The earth listens when you speak. The elements respond when you move with intention. You are not separate from creation. You are its heartbeat. Most people search for miracles in the sky, but yours have always been buried in the soil. You manifest through touch, through consistency, through devotion. Your rituals are sacred, even if you do not call them that. The morning coffee you make with love, the plants you care for, the music you play when your soul feels heavy. These small acts are not meaningless routines. They are spells woven into the fabric of your daily life. Every breath, every gesture, every word you repeat in gratitude becomes a seed that blooms in the invisible fields of the universe. That is the cosmic revelation of Taurus, that matter itself is holy. You are proof that spirituality does not always require detachment or ascension. Sometimes, it is about bringing heaven down to earth. You do not escape the physical world, you sanctify it. Your pleasure, your senses, your love of beauty are not distractions from the divine. They are expressions of it. When you eat with joy, when you love with presence, when you rest in trust, you are praying in the most ancient language. There is the language of embodiment. This is what the witches once feared to reveal, that Taurus carries the original secret of creation, the ability to merge spirit and matter without losing balance. The bull is not only a guardian of the earth, but also a bridge between dimensions. You are the point where the unseen becomes visible. That is why your energy is magnetic and powerful beyond measure. You do not need to demand or persuade. Your very existence speaks to the soul of the world. But there is another layer to this revelation. When you align with your higher self, the universe begins to use you as a channel for healing. You become a vessel for the divine feminine and masculine energies working together in perfect harmony. You can build temples out of love, homes out of peace, and relationships out of pure frequency. You no longer just create beauty, you become beauty itself. You vibrate at a frequency that calls others to awaken, not through force, but through your quiet example. They say the bull is stubborn, but perhaps that is not stubbornness. Perhaps it is sacred focus, the refusal to abandon truth even when the world forgets it. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be a reminder that stability can be spiritual, that presence can be divine, and that patience can be a form of magic. When you walk in alignment, your very footsteps bless the ground beneath you. And now, as this truth unfolds within you, you begin to feel what it means to be awakened Taurus energy. It is not about dominance or control. It is about remembering that creation moves through you effortlessly. The bull that once guarded the gate now opens it, allowing light to flow freely between the seen and unseen. You no longer fear your shadow because you have learned it was never darkness at all. It was the soil where your light was born. Taurus, take a deep breath. You have journeyed through your light and shadow, through the calm and the storm, and now you stand in the sacred center of your own becoming. Everything you have endured, every heartbreak, every silence, every time life asked you to start again, has brought you here to this moment of truth. You were never lost. You were being shaped, refined, reborn. The soil that once buried you has become the foundation of your strength. You have turned pain into patience, resistance into rhythm, and silence into song. There is something almost divine about the way you rise, Taurus. You do not explode into the world like fire. You emerge like dawn, slow, golden, unstoppable. The world does not always see your transformation because you do not perform it. You live it. You are proof that real evolution does not need to be loud to be powerful. Every time you rebuild yourself quietly, you send ripples through the universe. You remind creation that endurance is also a form of light. You were never meant to run from your darkness. You were meant to walk through it, to feel it with grace, to understand that even the shadows serve the light. The parts of you that once frightened you are now the same parts that carry your wisdom. They have taught you compassion. They have taught you humility. They have taught you that love is not only a feeling, but a state of being, one that you can embody even when the world feels uncertain. Your soul chose this sign for a reason. Taurus energy is not ordinary energy. It is divine endurance. It is the soul's memory of paradise. You came here to teach humanity what it means to build a heaven on earth, not through fantasy, but through faith, through presence, through the art of staying rooted while reaching for the stars. You are the reminder that miracles do not only descend from above, sometimes they grow from beneath our feet. Look at your life for a moment. Everything you have created, the people you love, the dreams you have nurtured, the beauty you have brought into existence, all of it was born from your ability to believe in what others could not yet see. That is your legacy, Taurus. You are not just surviving. You are manifesting divine order in a chaotic world. You are grounding the light so others can walk safely through their darkness. You are the guardian of sacred energy in human form. And now, as you move forward, remember this. Your journey is far from over. Every new day is another chance to embody the peace you fought to find. Let the universe guide you without fear. Let your roots dig deep, but let your spirit soar higher than ever before. There is no separation between who you were and who you are becoming. The past has become wisdom, and the future is already unfolding in your favor. You do not need to chase the light anymore. You are the light, patient, powerful, eternal. The earth itself recognizes you as one of its own. When you walk, it listens. When you speak, it vibrates. When you love, the universe expands. Never doubt the magnitude of your presence. You are not small, Taurus. You are cosmic. You are timeless. You are the living breath of creation, disguised as flesh and bone. So take this truth with you. You were never meant to be tamed. You were meant to be trusted. Trusted by the universe to hold the balance between heaven and earth, between stillness and movement, between love and transformation. You are the bridge through which the divine becomes real. That is your calling. That is your gift. And that is why you are here to remember, to create, and to rise again and again. If this message has awakened something deep within you, let it stay. Let it grow. Let it lead you to every corner of your power. And when your spirit is ready for more, explore the other journeys waiting for you here. There are more stories, more revelations, and more truths that your soul is ready to remember. Watch the other videos on this channel not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Each one carries a spark of the universe, waiting to speak directly to you. Because your journey, dear Taurus, is not about endings. It is about infinite beginnings. The stars are watching. The earth is listening. And somewhere within you, the bull rises calm, radiant, unbreakable, ready to create the world anew.